me and Paul Doer went to the Malco Theater because we wanted to see Jane Russell in the movie Underwater. That was a risque picture back then with Jane Russell. Well, anyway, he called ahead to the Malco Theater, and the guy that ran it was one of the Lightmans. Anyway, he called ahead, and they said, "We'll meet you at the side door." This is before Elvis was real big, and he drove up in a black limousine and got out, went in the side door, and sat down. And we're watching the movie. All this, and Elvis starts chattering and all this kind of stuff. This woman was sitting in front of us, and she turned around and said, "Young man, would you mind being quiet?" He said, "Yes, ma'am." And she recognized Elvis and fainted.
And fainted?
Fainted. Then, when the usher came down and the lights of the theater come on, Elvis said, "Oh, shit, we better get out of here." So here we go through the side door to get into the limo and go back to the house. The next time, Elvis rented the whole theater. We went to the Memphian and rented the whole thing. So that's what motivated Elvis to be renting the movies at home.
So who told that story?
Fred Frederick.
Fred Frederick, yeah.
Right.
Fred lived on your street.
No, but Fred was just a friend of the neighborhood, but mainly he went to a lot of the dances.
But he was a buddy to Elvis.
Oh yes.
Because you said Elvis brought a pink Cadillac over to show Fred.
Yes, but Fred went to school with Elvis. He was in the shop. Talk about that in the book. He was in Elvis's shop class. And he's the one that told me that Elvis refinished the guitar as a project in the wood class. So when you read in the book that he took his guitar from childhood into Sun Records and it was battered and so forth, that wasn't so. Elvis had that guitar looking really good. It was shining.
That's cool.
And he said he always liked it because Elvis was older, but he took time to talk to him just as though they were equals, so to speak. You know how some seniors get attitudes.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
That was one of the things. But Fred was also a policeman.
Oh, okay.
And so when he went into the movies, often when they were on, I guess the Memphian is when he would have gone into, and Elvis always welcomed them. And I'll find a story later on that I wanted to make sure I get very specific of some of the things that Elvis asked the policeman, and some of the things he wanted the policeman to give him. But he invited them up to the house all the time, and there were a lot of police cars up there that say, "Oh, we're just checking it out,"
That is cool. So, Rose,
Yeah.
find us another
The
story.
police loved him.
Find us another story in your notes there.
Then there's a story that Arlene told me about, that Elvis told her. And he said that Gladys's family were sharecroppers at a point, and they were out working the crops. And the man that owned the land came up, and he started acting weird or just talking in a way she didn't like. He wasn't specific about that, but he said that Gladys got angry and she picked up a piece of equipment and hit him over the head with it, and said she almost killed him.
She hit the guy over the head?
Yeah. Said it weighed almost 100 pounds and she picked it up. And it was like a family story, become a legend.
Elvis told Arlene that.
Yes.
See, this was a story from Elvis to Arlene.
That's a story from Elvis.
That's
you don't get any better than that.
That just shows that temper, though. Like
yes.
Elvis had that temper, and
he did.
Paula had that temper, too.
He inherited that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This is the stuff that you learn from Elvis up close, guys. Rose research.
Well, actually, I was telling them that I wanted to know something more about Elvis, the man. There's so many books out there about the awards he's won, the movies he's made. And when we used interviews to learn more about the movie, they were still focused on stories that of what Elvis did, um, how he worked during the movies. Angela Lansbury's talking about Elvis got bored during the breaks of the movies with nothing to do, and then he started practicing karate, and he started breaking boards. And so when he'd be through, there'd be broken boards all over the place. And he did that quite often, and he did karate at home. I mean, he really did. And so Bardall, Willie McDaniel, that's was a friend of Elvis, played football with him and everything, and um, he was said that one night some girls came over the house, and that Elvis had been, working his karate. Believe it or not, in the entry hall. Now with a huge chandelier over it, they're jumping around and breaking boards and all of that. So one of the fans asked him for a piece of a karate board, and she got it and wanted Elvis to autograph it. And Bardall said, it went through my head at that time, man, I was picking up those boards and taking them and throwing them in the trash. I could be rich by now.
Yep.
I mean, the people just want any part of Elvis.
What do you think, Grant? Elvis right here on your shirt. Let's see Grant's shirt right here. I like your shirt, man.
Thank you.
You said you watch Globetrotting with Trey?
Yes, sir, I do.
So, guys, Grant doesn't double dribble. He doesn't double dribble. I love you, Grant. All right, man. So Elvis is standing right there in that photo. So you got to stand beside him right here and hit your best karate move for me.
Always gotta stand beside the king.
There it is. Grant is TCBing, taking care of business. There it is. Look at That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Don't double dribble. Visit the Tiger Man by Spy Guy. Best thing in town.
The Dojo and Museum by Spa Guy. It is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Do not miss it. If you are making a trip to Memphis, make sure to put the Tiger Man on your must-do list. Elvis trained for battle. Mr. Tiger trained for battle in this building.
Experience the history. Tiger Man Karate Dojo and Museum by Spa Guy. 1 mile from the most famous mansion in rock and roll history.
It's incredible. Yeah, those boards would be important right now in that Tiger Man Karate Dojo.
Right. And you heard the story of Colonel Parker hearing that a man was cutting the grass out at Graceland, and he was bagging the leaves, and so Colonel Parker got the idea, man, we're throwing away all these leaves on Elvis's lawn, and he said, this guy's, selling them. So he got the idea that he would get the leaves and get Elvis to autograph them, and then he'd have a whole new market for Elvis.
I've never heard that before. Did he do it?
I don't have any idea. There's so much myth in all of these stories about the Elvis, but I know this one's true. We went to the fairgrounds so much when I was growing up because there literally was not anything to do but go to a movie. And so the fairgrounds had stages, and they would have people come in and perform. So Elvis performed at the fair, and Colonel Parker was out at the gate where people were coming in, and he had a sign that said free parking. So, the cars come in, see Elvis tonight, free parking, and they were coming in all excited and getting out of the car and just running to the stage because they wanted to get up close and personal. And so, the show goes on, everybody's very enthused about Elvis performing, and then they get in their cars to leave, and Colonel Parker's there and has a person on the other side to collect for the free parking. So it was free when you went in, but it cost money to go out.
That's incredible.
And the funny part about it was, we didn't have money in those
Yeah.
days. Very few people did. And we'd sometimes stop at the service station, get a quarter's worth of gas, if you could believe it. So people got ready to leave, and a lot of them didn't have money. I mean, even though they'd have 5 or 6 people in the car and couldn't raise $1.
Yeah.
And so they were jumping out of their cars and going around to other cars and trying to get a donation so they could pay to get out so the other people could get out. It's like, hey, I don't have any money. I can't get this car out of
Colonel
here
made
unless
them
you
pay.
loan me some money.
Bruno made them pay to leave the parking lot.
Right.
I've never heard that before.
No charge when you go in.
And where was that at again? That was at the
Fairgrounds.
fairgrounds
Yeah.
where the Zip and Pippin was.
Right, right.
Oh, yeah, because his boy was there at the fairgrounds, so
Yeah.
you came to see Elvis, right?
Right.
So were you out there with Elvis when he was
No,
out
I wasn't. My brother was there.
there?
He
You
told me
ever
that story.
saw Elvis out there?
No, I saw Barbara Pittman a lot, but I never went there. I went to the movies a lot.
Yeah, you
know,
were at
and
Memphis.
I'm at Memphis.
Do you remember any movie that y'all watched with Elvis?
No, I didn't. I have friends that did, and they would say, "Well, you need to come over here." They couldn't understand why I wouldn't come to Graceland a lot and why I wouldn't go to the movies, but it all goes with the goals you set for yourself in life. I wanted to go to college, and I wanted to be a journalist like my dad was, and I didn't get that far in that way. I got, fascinated by other parts of the entertainment industry. But that was my goal, and I knew that I had to have a scholarship to go to college. And then I found out it was more expensive than I thought. I had to have 2 scholarships, and I had a part-time job. And then I was editor of the college yearbook.
Wow, really?
So, I mean, I was a pretty busy person. So I couldn't go to Graceland and stay up all night long. I mean,
Did you ever go there, though?
Oh, I did. I went one
When Elvis
night.
was there.
Right.
Oh, so tell us that.
Well, it was just kind of weird. I was so sleepy. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was, as I say, I went to bed early so I could get up and do everything I had to do to go to school, but the night that I was there, everybody was sitting around, and they were talking.
Where at?
They at Graceland in the living
The
room,
living room, okay.
and the 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 Memphis Mafia was just some of the guys that were there. I can think of 3 of them. They were strutting around like this was their house. It was kind of comical. I must say that as far as the people that I was around, and I had a relationship with Lamar Fike through the music industry in Nashville because he went to work for the publisher there, and Marty Lacker too. He was, both of them were always business. I mean, they would get involved in the games and everything, but even that was a business to them. If they played a game and went swimming, I mean, you could just tell it was just 100%. And I just thought that was interesting because so many of the guys were not.
Wow.
They acted like they owned the place. They acted like the people came to see them. And so I'm sitting there thinking, is he ever going to come down? And then someone would say, well, he does this. He's gone upstairs to change. Sometimes he changes clothes like 3 times a night and da-da-da-da-da, all this kind of stuff. And so I was ready to go home. And finally he comes down the steps. And I mean, it was like something from a movie script. It was. He was drop dead gorgeous. And the thing about it is, it's true what they say, that Elvis was better looking in person than he was on the screen or
In the photos and
yes, photos.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or film of any kind. And I thought that was a big. I mean, I just knew that couldn't be true. My dad told me, though. He told me, he said, he's just one of these people you can't photograph and get good looking enough. he says just.
Would
But
you-
anyway, he came down and he like sashayed. He had this sexy walk, I'm telling you. And somebody was telling me, well, I don't think that he got that from a movie. Now, he may have got a lot of tricks from a movie because he was such an adamant movie person, but he took what he saw and he made it his own.
I got
He
you.
took what he could use and he just had a way of incorporating it into him. And it was really funny because when I first met my late husband, somebody said, well, what impressed you most of all about him? And I said, well, I don't know. And then I said, well, he does kind of walk like Elvis. And everybody said, you said you don't like Elvis like that. And I was always saying, well, I like Elvis and I like his music, but
Yeah.
I don't like him like that. And I think that's because I met him when he was so young.
But you're telling me though, Elvis made a grand entrance.
He made a grand
that night,
entrance.
and it was
And
late. It was like 2 a.m.
yes, and everything got silent.
What do you mean everything got silent? No one's
I mean,
ever
people
silent.
were, it's like before, and this is the truth, before he really came in sight, there seemed to be a change in mood or attitude. It just seemed like everything got quieter. Maybe that's what he knew, and that's what he made his entrance so he could really captivate the audience.
I bet he did.
But I mean, he may have had cameras of it, but he did. He would. I don't know. He just kind of had this really relaxed, confident air about him, and you felt safe around him. But yet you felt like something's getting ready to happen.
It was exciting being around.
Yes,
Elvis.
it was exciting. You did get that feeling. You do before a ball game, before a concert.
Yeah.
It's almost you almost get a
Well, you felt his presence.
get that right.
Yeah.
It's as electrifying
Yeah.
as when the event starts and the kickoff. Mother always said she got bored after the kickoff. She would watch and all the fanfare and everything, and then they'd kick it off and make that first run, and she was finished with it.
That's-
But yeah, it was like that, and so he was talking to all the guys. One thing I noticed about Elvis in just a few short minutes like that.
So stay tuned, guys. I have a lot more with Rose Clayton Phillips. She's a wealth of knowledge. She's going to share about Elvis that night at Graceland. She also has a few other stories with Elvis when he became a superstar. She was around him a few times. Love Rose to death. Rose is, like I said, a wealth of knowledge, so stay tuned. A lot more cool Elvis stories with Rose Clayton Phillips. And if you can, you have to find Elvis up close and purchase her book to learn a lot more about the real Elvis Presley. Hey, and don't double dribble. Subscribe to Globetrotting with Trey to stay updated with every episode I upload each Tuesday and Friday, Flashback Friday episodes on Elvis and special ones here and there. Until next time, I'll see you down the road. Thanks for watching.